Preserving cultural knowledge. Imagine for a moment that what you believe to be the absolute truth about the world, nature, and human life is actually disappearing right before your eyes. It's shocking, right? Ancient cultures which have cultivated wisdom over millennia are on the brink of extinction. And what if I told you that the answers to many modern dilemmas already exist, hidden within ancient traditions that are being erased without anyone noticing? Instead of chasing new solutions, what if we explored what has already been tested and proven over generations? By preserving these cultures and their knowledge, we're not just keeping traditions alive, we're reclaiming solutions that could transform lives and the future of the planet. What's even more intriguing is that many of these cultures have a deep connection to nature that allowed them to survive in extreme environments. For example, indigenous communities in the Amazon possess vast knowledge about biodiversity and how to live sustainably. They almost intuitively understand the natural cycles and adapt them to daily life, something that could revolutionize how we approach today's climate crisis. If we adopt even a fraction of this wisdom, imagine how effectively we could face our current environmental challenges. Preserving this knowledge isn't just about saving ancient traditions. It's about creating a better future for all of us. Think about the constant technological advancement. Now, imagine combining them with practices that respect and utilize the Earth's resources sustainably. By uniting the ancient and the modern, we not only innovate, but also ensure that our evolution is harmonious with the environment. So the big question is, how can we allow this knowledge to disappear? After all, it's the key to solving many of our contemporary problems. The power of words, the strength of the spoken word. Have you ever stopped to think that the words you choose have the power to create or destroy realities? It might sound exaggerated, right? But when you look closer, you realize that the way you express yourself can shape your daily experiences, interactions, and even your perception of the world. The ancient Toltec wisdom, as presented in the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, shows us that being impeccable with your word is one of the keys to peace and happiness. It seems simple, but is incredibly profound. How many times have you caught yourself saying something without considering the consequences? This is a habit that can be transformative. Imagine a situation where someone constantly says they are incapable of doing something. Over time, these words become reality, like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, picture the opposite, a person who carefully chooses their words, always seeking truth and positivity. This simple act of being more mindful of what they say can completely change their perspective. Open doors once seemed closed. It's not magic, it's simply a matter of changing the internal and external narrative. So how do you apply this in practice? First, start by observing how you talk to yourself. When a difficult situation arises, instead of saying, "I can't do this," try rephrasing it. "I'll try something new and see what happens." Small adjustments like this can create profound transformation in your life. It's a matter of practice, and sooner than you might think, the way you use your words will begin to influence your reality in surprising ways. Harmony with nature. Forgotten balance. We live in an era where everything seems disconnected. Technology surrounds us, yet at the same time, it pulls us away from the simplest and most essential things, like nature. Now, imagine if we could return to a mindset where true harmony with the natural world was at the center of our daily lives. This isn't just a utopian idea. It's something ancient cultures like the Chinese, through Confucian teachings, practiced and passed down for centuries. According to Confucius, the balance between humans and nature isn't just desirable. It's essential for a full and harmonious life. This vision may seem distant, but it's more relevant than ever in times of environmental and social crises. Confucius believed that harmony wasn't limited to human relationships, but also included our relationship with the environment around us. A practical example is how he taught reverence for the Earth's seasons and natural cycle. By aligning ourselves with these cycles, we're able to find a healthier and more balanced rhythm for our lives. It's not just about planting a tree or recycling more, but truly respecting and understanding our place within the global ecosystem. Think about it. When you walk through a park or forest, Have you noticed how your body and mind respond to the tranquility of nature? It's no coincidence. It's living proof that this ancient teaching continues to be relevant. So, how can we apply this wisdom today? Start by dedicating a few minutes of your day to being in contact with nature, whether through a walk or outdoor meditation. This simple practice can radically shift your perspective and help you find the balance you didn't even know you were missing. The more you connect with the natural world, the more you'll find inner peace and a path to the harmony Confucius so strongly advocates. Resilience through perspective. The wisdom of Stoicism. Life inevitably presents us with challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But how we respond to these difficulties can change everything. Stoic philosophy, which emerged in ancient Greece and was embraced by many great Roman thinkers, teaches us that true resilience doesn't come from trying to control the external world, but from mastering our reactions to it. It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? Instead of fighting against what we can't control, Stoicism guides us to accept reality and focus on what we can change, our perceptions and attitudes. A practical example can be found in everyday life. Imagine losing a job or experiencing a personal disappointment. Most people would naturally be shaken, but Stoic wisdom tells us that these moments are opportunities to strengthen our resilience. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Stoics encourage us to reframe the question to, "What can I learn and how can I grow from this?" Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Roman emperors and Stoic philosophers, used to say that obstacles are the way. This thought might be hard to accept at first, but once you internalize it, everything changes. How do you apply this in practice? Start small. The next time something doesn't go as planned, take a deep breath and ask yourself, "What can I control here?" Focus on your response and how you view the situation. Over time, this mindset shift will allow you to become more resilient, facing life's challenges with calm and clarity, without losing emotional balance. Balancing courage and humility. Biblical wisdom. In a world where we are constantly encouraged to be assertive, the idea of balancing courage with humility can seem paradoxical. Yet this is exactly what biblical wisdom teaches us, especially in the writings of the Book of Proverbs. We often associate strength with aggression and success with self-sufficiency. But the truth is that the wisest people are those who find balance between these two extremes. This is a deep and timeless lesson. Being courageous doesn't mean being arrogant, and being humble doesn't mean being weak. Imagine a situation where you need to make a tough decision at work. Courage might require you to stand by your ideas, even when faced with resistance. But at the same time, wisdom suggests acting with humility, listening to others' viewpoints, and acknowledging that you may not have all the answers. This balance can not only strengthen your position, but also build bridges with those around you. When you're guided by this mix of courage and humility, you become a person who not only leads, but also inspires. To apply this wisdom in your daily life, start with small action. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, am I being courageous without being arrogant? Am I being humble without being passive? By practicing this balance in your interactions, you'll see how the dynamics around you begin to change. You'll become someone others look to for guidance, and that's a reward that goes far beyond material success. In the end, this balance is the secret to building strong, lasting relationships, both in work and in personal life. The wisdom in simplicity. The Toltec rules. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we often complicate what could be simple. But what if I told you that the secret to living a full and balanced life doesn't lie in big theories or complex strategies, but in simple principles that anyone can follow? That's exactly what the Toltec Don Miguel Ruiz presents in his book, For Agreement. He suggests that by following 4 simple rules, be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best, we can achieve inner peace and happiness. Sounds almost too easy, but the real strength lies in the simplicity of these rules. Think about how your life would change if you decided right now to apply just one of these rules. Maybe you start by being impeccable with your word. By choosing your words carefully, you avoid misunderstandings, unnecessary conflicts, and more importantly, create a more positive reality around you. Or perhaps you decide to stop taking things personally. Imagine the relief that would bring, realizing that other people's behavior is rarely about you, but more about themselves. This is a practical example of how simplicity can be powerful. To start, pick one of the 4 rules and commit to applying it for a week. Notice how your interactions change, how your stress levels decrease, and how you start to feel lighter and more at peace. The secret here isn't striving for perfection, but making progress. Every small step you take toward these rules is a step toward a simpler, yet more meaningful and balanced life. Sometimes less really is more, and the Toltec lessons remind us that wisdom can indeed be found in simplicity. Throughout this text, we've explored ancient wisdoms that, surprisingly, remain relevant today. From preserving cultural traditions to practicing simple principles like the Toltec teachings, these lessons show us that the path to a more balanced and fulfilling life already been laid out by those who came before us. But knowledge alone isn't enough. It needs to be applied. And this is where the true power of these lessons comes into play. The question now is, what will you do with this new knowledge? Think about your current life and all the areas where these wisdoms could make a difference. Where could you be more mindful of your words? In what situations can you find harmony, not just in your relationships, but also with the environment around you? Perhaps you're facing a challenge that requires resilience. As Stoic philosophy taught us, this can be transformed into an opportunity for growth. What can you learn from your adversities? And more importantly, how can you implement these changes now, not just tomorrow or next week? If you feel that these lessons can transform your life, first step is simple. Commit to taking action. Choose 1 or 2 ideas that really resonated with you and apply them daily. And remember, the journey to wisdom isn't a final destination, but a continuous path of learning and growth. If you want to keep expanding your mind and receiving more of these powerful lessons, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let's continue this journey together, exploring more ancient wisdom that can transform modern life. What will you change today?